Just early this month, a lot of Asians have in the USA have stood together, forming the Asian Justice Rally, which held in Atlanta, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Philadelphia, and San Francisco, to honor and seek justice for Asian victims of hate and violence. And as you know, attacks against the Asian Americans have, ever since the coronavirus pandemic started, Asians have been targeted more compared to prior to the coronavirus pandemic. And then some, and the Asians have ended up dying because of attacks at them, accusations of them having coronavirus or carrying coronavirus or starting coronavirus. And of course, you can blame Donald Trump for that one too. Food blogger Sam Cheng said Don Lee spoke at the very end, and what he said resonated with me. He asked why the AAPI community has to fight so hard for these attacks to be taken seriously, and notice why they are promised funding by politicians but never reached it for the past 2 years. So they were promised funding by people, but they never received it compared to some other races. And the fact that the Asian Americans had to literally speak out to get this recognition, trying to be heard, is and these Asian Americans being attacked by racist white people, black people, and some other races. In which some black people, like white people, black people, Latinos, and some other races, well, there are people who are in that race category. Some people still don't think Asians belong, and they're just rather, since coronavirus pandemic started, it started in China, and they're also listening to Donald Trump and blaming Asians for starting it, or which is not 100% exact, but they were blaming the people who are living outside Asian countries, and I think all Asians carry coronavirus, which is a negative lie, because they were not even in China or countries surrounding China, and people who are like living in North America and also Australia and some other, and England and other places where Asians living in outside Asian countries were being attacked and targeted, slandered, and even killed. Made by false accusations, and it was just kind of totally unfair. And the majority of these people were Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Malaysian, Singapore, Thailand, Filipino, and other surrounding Asian countries who are like look somewhat similar to each other. So Sam Cheng had captured some key moments of solidarity during the rally. Some Asian Americans were holding a sign that said "We're tired," and then some people were holding a sign that they were like, "Stop the attacks on Asian women now, end the violence against Asians." And then there's one that reads either in Chinese or Japanese, made by Chinese Americans or Japanese Americans. No more hate. This angry woman demands justice. Stop the violence. Bring back safety. Stand with us. A people united will never be defeated. Fuck hate. And also some other ones. Our voices will be heard. We will not be silenced. Break the silence. Unite now against racism. And then there's an Asian woman who has a mask that reads Thai, Cambodian, Vietnamese, Korean, Filipino, Chinese, and some. And on the other side of the mask, the right side of the mask, it said "Strong Together," showing support for Asians. And then another Asian woman has a mask that says the hashtag Stop Asian Hate. Asian woman is holding a sign that says "Stop gaslighting our AAPI community." Some person is holding a sign that says "Justice for Victims." Proud to be Asian. Stand with us. And then another one that says "Stop fetishing the Asian people," and of course without and then the sign actually reads, "It's exhausting going from invisible to fetish the model minority to hunted like prey," which does exact. And all those signs uh, were generally and there was another one for other Asian Americans, "Justice for Vicha," breaking the silence. And in Los Angeles, break the silence, stand with Asians. And also they were like giving out water and some stuff. So Los Angeles was handling it pretty well. Philadelphia had some performers. And then some people holding a red poster with a flower on it to, of course, pay respect for the victims of anti-Asian hate who lost their lives because they were of racist people in USA. And it's good to see Asians finally standing up. And while there was a lot of stuff in New York, of course, New York is a current hotspot. Although the majority of those photos were from Atlanta, Chicago, and New York. So a lot of Asian representation over there. People trying to Asian Americans finally, refusing to be silenced and teaming up. And this is what, and they were not attacking anybody, and and while movements like Black Lives Matter were just going violent and avoiding controversy, well, they were getting support. Well, Asians, we were getting a lack of support. And especially during the coronavirus pandemic. The fact that the Asian anti-Asian hate has increased, although Asians have been, the culture has been endorsed, and people are celebrating Chinese New Year for China and Lunar New Year for for South Korea and some other surrounding countries that who do celebrate it, not countries that are not Asian and they don't celebrate it because it's not part of their culture. And they think they endorse literally everything that Asians made, but but they don't respect the people, as a Korean Canadian guitarist and DJ Davin Lee pointed out. And especially like what's going on is like, oh, this Asian thing is has come out. Let's endorse that. What is about supporting Asian people? There's no barely any attention with that. I mean, if it was something like, oh, a new video game from Japan, or new anime, or some person who are like did a role in Japan, they got that gets attention. South Korea, BTS, or Blackpink, or China, some other like Jackie Chan, or like some other martial artist, or kung fu, or like, and some other stuff. And or other countries with actors, actresses, singers, or maybe it's the food or something, and people, they're all like, oh, they idolize that, they endorse that. But when it comes to the individual people, they have no respect for that, and it is just troubling. It is just troubling. And while it is good for that there are white people, black people, Latinos, and Europeans, and people of other races and cultures that do respect Asians, there is still a fraction of them who are still racist, and that needs to end. Asians will not be silenced anymore. So please show support for any Asians that you know, and also make a social media post for supporting Asians. And and we thank you for that. So, show your support. You see any racist activity and see any Asians getting targeted, step in and support them. Report it to the police. Report to the Asian support group that is near you. And thanks.